Boys, it's finally here. The time has come. Boxing Day is upon us. Football is back. We got 10 games to talk about. Is there anything better than that?
Not that I can think of right now.
This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. That's Brad. He supports Chelsea. And down below, that is Sean, and he supports Tottenham Hotspurs. Boys, hello, good day, good morning. It's back. Let's just get into it. So it's been like 6 weeks since we've had football, of English football, I should say. And I think that means we probably should take a look at the Premier League table and see where everybody's at right now. Of course, it's important.
You just wanted to do it for Arsenal, didn't you?
It's very important to have a good contextual understanding of where everyone is in the table, what their situations are, what their stories have been through the first 14 or 15 games in the season. So yes, I did want to look at the league table because it's been a minute since I've looked at the league table. And it looks real nice right now. You know what I'm saying? Like real nice. So in first position on 37 points, 5 points clear of the second place team, we've got Arsenal Football Club. The boys are there. Second place is Manchester City up to third. This is Newcastle United. Big shout out to Joel and his team, Newcastle. Eddie Howe's got them playing exceptionally well through the first 15 games. So big shout out to Newcastle. Tottenham round out the top four. They are in fourth. Manchester United are in fifth. That's kind of an interesting turnaround for United, especially after the way they started the season. So good on them. Liverpool are in sixth. Brighton and Hove Albion are in seventh. Chelsea Football Club are in eighth. Trailed closely behind by close rivals Fulham. Fulham are in ninth on 19 points, 2 points off Chelsea. In 10th are Brentford. And 11th, starting the second half of the table, we got Crystal Palace in 11th, Aston Villa in 12th, Leicester City are in 13th. Bournemouth are 14th. Leeds United, Jesse Marsh and the boys, they are 15th. West Ham United are in 16th. Everton are in 17th. And then in the positions no one wants to be in the relegation zone. In 18th, we've got Nottingham Forest. They are on 13 points. Southampton, they are on 12 points. And then Wolves, they are on 10 points. So things not looking good for any of those teams. Honestly, from about Bournemouth down, from like 14th down, it's looking a little dicey for those teams. So what do you guys think about this table? We've played about we think like a third of the season so far, a little bit more than a third of the season. What do you think?
I mean, the biggest surprise is Fulham, as high up as they are.
You think?
Yeah, Fulham in the top 10. I mean, we knew Newcastle being top 3 is probably a shocker, but not as big of a shock as Fulham top 10, personally.
That's your biggest surprise?
Yeah.
What's your biggest suppression?
Arsenal. How is that not anybody's? That has to be your biggest surprise, James. You didn't expect to be 14 games in with 37 points.
Certainly not.
Only dropped 5 points in 14 games. There's no way in your wildest dreams you thought you would drop 5 points in 14 games. Yes. That has to be the biggest surprise of the season.
Certainly, I did not expect Arsenal to be there. But I will tell you that when we were making our predictions for the season, I picked Arsenal to finish third. And I waffled on whether or not I wanted to say Arsenal would finish second. So there was a big part of me that was like, I think Arsenal is going to finish second. So yeah, obviously being 5 points clear after 14 games is incredible to me. But honestly, my biggest thing is Wolves. Wolves playing 15 games and only having 10 points.
Yeah.
That to me is the biggest shock. I think Arsenal
and West Ham.
No, I think Arsenal, like, having 37 points through 14 games is an astronomical total. That's a lot for Arsenal. But, like, if I'd had them, like, where Newcastle are or where Spurs are, 28, 29, 30, somewhere like that, like, they're not that far off. But Wolves, man, like, that's they're going to get relegated. Like, there's, I mean, unless there's some major turnaround for them, they're going to get relegated. And I didn't pick them to get relegated. You didn't pick them to get relegated. Brad didn't pick them to get relegated. So that to me is that's the biggest one for me personally.
It's interesting. We all three picked something different.
Well,
this has been a good season.
I agree. It's been a good season. I mean,
it's been an interesting season and a good season.
I want to ask you, Brad, because it seems to me like if I were to ask Sean, I'm sure Sean is decently pleased with where Spurs are. What's up with Chelsea, and do you think that over the course of the next 24 games that Chelsea will get it right and finish in the top four?
Yes.
Okay, that was the most obvious response that anyone has ever received on this podcast.
Yeah, that was the most obvious.
No, because
that was the most yes that there has ever been.
Hold on. As much of a Chelsea homer as I am, right? And there's like proof. There was a long enough pause there that like I actually had to like think through to see, can it be possible? And I think it can.
I think
it's the most yes.
Obviously, it can be possible. Like I mean,
yeah.
I think we can get it done.
8 points.
And we're getting healthy. That's the best part about the 6 weeks. Well, Reece is back. Ben Chilwell's back.
For how long?
Conte's not back. The rest of the season, brah.
Because
Fofana's hurt again. For another month.
That's the thing with both Ben Chilwell and Reece James is like you can't.
They always get injured.
Like
they played. Yeah.
Can you rely on them for the next 24 matches, like each plus Champions
League
plus?
It's like Tierney.
Well, Tierney's healthy. The problem is he's run into Alessandro Zinchenko.
Right. Like clearly we need cover for Reece. I think we have cover. I mean, we have plenty of cover. Like we have the coverage for Ben Chilwell on the left. You can slide Cucurella right into that spot. So we still need cover for Reece James. But yes, I think we get top four.
How would you characterize the first section of the season?
Chaos.
I thought you said Chelsea thrive in chaos.
That was under the Russian oligarch.
Ah, okay.
It was a Russian oligarch thing.
So now the American oligarch, you don't know what to do.
We don't know yet.
American
we
oligarch.
We got to see because right? Because look, if we're still top half of the table and we're not in Champions League at the end of the year, we'll see if Todd's willing to stick with Graham. I hope so.
You just signed him.
That would be an interesting question for a team like Chelsea, for a fan base like Chelsea, who have gotten fairly used to being in the Champions League over the last 25 years.
Yeah. We've been out of it. I think we missed
once or twice.
I think one or twice. Yeah.
Especially over the last 25 years, it's probably maybe 2 or 3 times that you guys have been out of the Champions League, because that goes back into the 90s a little bit over the last 25 years.
Yeah.
But if we just do like the last 20 years, since Roman Abramovich bought the team, you guys have missed out on the Champions League on occasion, once or twice, something like that. It would be interesting to see if Chelsea supporters can stomach an Arsenal situation where like you have a downturn, all the other teams around you get better, and it takes you a while to recover, and you miss out on the Champions Leagues for 5 years. I know you're going to say that.
You're correct.
You're going to say that's not going to happen. Your gut reaction is to be like, well, that's never going to happen. But
I mean, look,
England is the toughest league in the world to qualify.
And these past 20 years, like we've just won like something almost every single year. There's been like a couple of years where we haven't won something. So I think that becomes the difference, right? Are we still competing? Are we still winning trophies? And I don't think it takes 5 years.
I'm not suggesting you guys are in a position that Arsenal were in when Arsene Wenger left, but
if we miss a year or two, like
that would be madness.
That brings up a good.
If we miss next year, I think. I mean, like clearly the goal was top 4, right? Like that was Bowley's goal when he took over was top 4. With Tuchel, I think once Tuchel left, I think top 4 is still the goal, but it's not like detrimental to Potter if he doesn't hit it. Like he's not. I don't think he's going to be fired if he doesn't hit top 4. I think if we're outside of European football, I think that's a different conversation that happens then.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. It's hard to pin another manager's expectations to a new manager and then hold them to it. It's hard to do that and then hold them accountable for something that.
Especially when you fire your manager the day after the window closes.
But to be fair to Graham Potter and Thomas Tuchel, it's not like Chelsea. It's not like it was. It's not like they fired Tuchel and he was in 16th position. Like Chelsea were in and around where they are now, and like they haven't gotten any worse. They haven't gotten any better under Potter. So
that's what happened with Nuno and Jose. Like you guys were like, oh, Nuno's doing fine. You're right there. You're in striking distance. No, we looked awful.
I was just asking the questions last year.
See, I don't think Chelsea looks awful though.
Yes, they do. Have you what? See, it's been a month since he's watched it. He don't remember. They look bad.
I don't think they do. I disagree.
Oh my gosh, a month. What a month does to erase the memory, huh?
We'll see this week.
I guess we will.
We'll see.
That's the point of this episode.
Yeah.
That's
or
the
5 days, 4 days.
That is the point of this episode. Sorry, I did get a sidetrack there. I apologize, gentlemen. So yes, Boxing Day is upon us. So we've got 10 matches kicking off on Monday, December 26th. It all kicks off with Brentford hosting Tottenham Hotspurs. Spurs are getting us kicked off. Then we got Palace hosting Fulham. We've got Everton hosting Wolves. Leicester are hosting Newcastle United. Southampton are hosting Brighton. Aston Villa are hosting Liverpool. And Arsenal host West Ham United. Fast forward to Tuesday. We've got Chelsea hosting Bournemouth. United hosting Forest. And then this match week kind of rounds out on Wednesday with Leeds hosting City. So we've got 7 matches on Boxing Day, 3 on not on Boxing Day, essentially. That is what it would be. So first off, Joel, I know you're either over in England now or you're going to be in England when you're listening to this. I hope you get tickets to that Leicester Newcastle game. I really do. That would be fantastic for you. And if you do, record some video so that we can show it on the podcast. We'll figure out how to do that. We'll have like I don't know.
Figure it out.
We'll splice it in on the review. We got it. We'll figure it out.
It'll be cash money. I promise. It'll be really cool. But where do we want to start? Should we start with Leicester, Newcastle, Southampton, Brighton, Villa, Liverpool, Arsenal? Where do you want to start, Brad?
So one quick aside.
Yes.
On Monday, on the first game of Boxing Day.
Yes.
Does Ivan Toney start? Technically, he has until January 4th to answer. So, like, technically, there's nothing that can happen until January 4th.
Yes.
Does Brentford play Ivan Toney?
Yes. You start your best player.
Yeah.
Until you can't.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't like. I'm asking. I agree with you. Sean, if you can play him, you play him. But I don't know.
I mean, there's a Premier League. There's a Premier League star being credibly accused of a sexual assault that plays in London for a big club in London, apparently, and there are nobody's been internally suspended or not played, and sexual assault rape is a much more heinous act than gambling. So yeah, you got to play Ivan Toney until you can't. Why? Especially with a victimless crime like gambling. Like, absolutely play him.
It's not victimless. We're talking about our sponsors here.
They
probably fed him a few free bets. You know, True. He put down his $5 and got £100.
That's right, guys. He did. He is taking money from the bookie.
Wait a second. His owner owns a betting company. Like, that's how he got to buy Brentford.
Yeah, bro.
So like,
It's all ridiculous. All of it's ridiculous.
Speaking of betting, can I go on a tangent real quick?
We just did,
We
so go
love
ahead.
those here.
Did you guys see the championship parlay long bet from this guy that bet $26 on this was the weekend before he placed this bet, the weekend before March Madness
Okay.
of this past year. He bet Kansas to win the Final Four.
Okay.
He bet Golden State to win the championship. He bet the Avalanche to win the NHL championship. He bet LAFC to win MLS. He bet AC Milan to win Serie A. He bet Man City to win the EPL. And then his last bet was France to win the World Cup. It was
How much?
$26 to win $580,000.
What was the payout
Oh
before
my-
the World Cup final, though?
So
What was the
before the
buyout?
World
What
Cup
was the
final,
buyout?
I'm glad you asked. They asked him to pay out $287,000,
Yes.
Yes.
and he took it.
Good man.
Smart man.
Before the World Cup final. He took it. Could you imagine losing $550,000 on a penalty kick?
No.
No.
No, I couldn't.
Wow.
He nailed every one of them, and almost had France. Almost.
Yeah, except for Emi Martinez being
Yeah.
as big as a wall. Wow.
Crazy.
How does that bet only get you from $26 only get you to 500,000? That seems
What do
insane.
you mean only?
I think he
What do you mean
picks-
only?
I think
Well, I don't know about Avalanche because I don't know about the NHL, but I think most of those were the favorites to win.
AC Milan to win Serie A? Get out of here. No.
That may have been a slight long shot. Compared to the others, it's his long shot.
That's a longer shot. France winning
Because,
the World Cup's not a long shot.
AC was wait a second. AC and Inter were like neck and neck the season before.
Excuse me. Yes.
So I don't think it's as long as you think. And Inter blew themselves up because of chaos. Because of like
I don't know how odds work, and I don't know how
Inter
people
lost
make
Conte.
the odds, but
I wouldn't doubt AC Milan were one of the favorites to win.
probably up there. They probably had shorter odds than say
Probably AC or Inter,
Salernitana.
right?
Napoli was probably up there as well.
Maybe.
When I look down the bet sheet, the only negative, which is lower odds for those that don't bet, the only negative on the entire bet sheet was Man City to win because he put it in March, and at that point, Man City had just about locked it up.
Yeah, maybe that's why it didn't amount to as much.
Oh yeah, it could have been 600,000-700,000.
Yeah, it just seems like nailing all of those correct should be so much more.
You're off your you make 7 bets, and all of a sudden, you're saying it should be more.
Yes, I'm saying.
Ivan Tony, please subscribe to this podcast so we can
teach me about parlays. I don't understand.
Teach me about parlays.
We'll get you your own segment on here.
Yeah.
Tony's corner.
Ivan's bets.
Yeah, I don't know if we can. You have to win some of these bets because clearly we can't pay you.
We'll call it Ivan to bet.
Ivan to wow. Yo, Sean's coming in with the segments. That's hot.
Hey, listen. Sometimes you come up with your best ideas on the fly.
Yo,
Ivan
segments and sponsors. That's Sean's job.
Even if Tony doesn't decide to join us, that should be a segment.
Ivan to bet.
Yeah, we need to get some.
All right.
All
right. I'm gonna start looking up odds.
Degenerate sports sponsors because
I'll do it since we lost the inconvenience of the week because that was a lot to come up with. I can do bet of the week.
All right.
Why did we highlight Southampton Brighton?
Why did we highlight? I don't know. You were the one bolding things.
I didn't.
Brent.
I only did because you said to.
Okay, well, I will say that Brighton, they've got a World Cup winner on their team. Yeah, got Danny Welbeck. Southampton needs to win some points so they can get out of relegation. I don't know. I picked Southampton to get relegated, so I need Brighton to pump them.
Okay.
Let's talk about Leicester Newcastle. So obviously Leicester probably expected at the beginning of the season to be where Newcastle is, and Newcastle obviously didn't expect to be where they are now. I think they expected to be fighting in and around there, but to be 30 points through 15 games is exceptionally good. That's a great point total. So how do we see this game? Do we think that this World Cup break has served either one of these teams better than the other?
I mean, Leicester was hot when they won 4 of their last 5 before the break. So I mean, and Newcastle won all 5. So it's an interesting run of form. Both were hot. See if they can keep it.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, the only game that Leicester lost in that run of 5 was against Manchester City, and they lost 1-0. So, like, you can't fault somebody for losing to City 1-0.
Yeah.
That's probably the best result anyone can hope to get against City, if we're being honest.
And they came out firing this week in the EFL Cup. I mean, they played MK Dons, but like,
Brad,
knocking in 3 goals isn't knocking in 3 goals.
How much of that game did you get to watch?
Absolutely, as much as we get to watch the pick of the week.
Dang. Okay, I understand now. So like that, I guess that's I guess a good point that you're bringing up in terms of their form. I don't know. I don't think form plays a factor into these games at all. You know what I mean? Because it's been so long since these teams have played.
That's a lot of rest. Though.
Like this is my biggest concern coming into the second half of the season, that Arsenal don't maintain the same level of intensity that they were exhibiting at the beginning of the season, and that they had built up for themselves over the course of the first 14 games. I worry that not necessarily that complacency comes in, but that like it takes a while for the gears to start spinning again, for the cranks to start grinding.
Yeah. It kind of feels like we ended a season and we're starting a new one.
Yeah,
like it feels that way.
To me, it really feels like who is going to get the ball rolling fast enough? Like who is going to get their snowball tumbling down the mountain fast enough, picking up the steam to.
That's why I'm going to trust Spurs away at Brentford, because Kane only stopped playing 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. And so he gets a little break, and then he gets right back to training. Like, it's a little break.
Yeah.
For a team, but teams like Brentford, who haven't, like, no one. I need to look at Brentford's roster, but like no one went over. They've been just chilling for 5 weeks.
I mean, I'm sure they arranged friendlies, and Arsenal played.
They just got smacked by Chelsea.
Yeah, Arsenal played 3 friendlies.
The Havertz hat trick, apparently, behind closed doors.
So, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like another one of these games that we kind of highlighted was this Aston Villa game against Liverpool, right? So, Liverpool have the match against City in the Carabao Cup, and they haven't played in 6 weeks. And I don't know if Sean, you made this point when we were talking about this on the preview episode, on the review episode on Wednesday, that like players like Mo Salah and Erling Haaland, like they haven't played in 6 weeks.
They're gonna play. They're playing.
They're gonna play. So like this game could have fireworks. Now, granted, City are missing quite a few players. Julian Alvarez, who's obviously still in Buenos Aires right now. Excuse me.
Well, they're not missing that, but
yeah. Well, he wasn't playing anyway. But like Carabao Cup, obviously would have been his competition. But like, is Kevin De Bruyne back? Like, is he back fully integrated into the team? Phil Foden.
Yeah, Belgium was out soon enough that
I would assume so as well.
But either way, let's be real. City has 22 players that could start for probably almost any other team in the Premier League. So like, they're not hurting.
Yeah, but a lot of those players were at the World Cup. Like, their second,
and most of them came back quick.
I mean, some of them, yeah. I mean, they had quite a few players playing deep into the tournament, quarterfinals or beyond.
They did get the most money from FIFA for their players.
Yeah, so
Chelsea was second.
And then you look at a team like Aston Villa. Unai Emery, new manager, he's had two games in charge, really had a chance to kind of drill and hone in. Now, I don't know how important this is specifically. They play on Monday. Emi Martinez is in Buenos Aires right now. He could probably be back in at Villa by
I guess
Monday.
it depends. Is he going to be sober enough?
I don't know. I mean, if he gets on a plane tomorrow, I mean, like that's a long way to fly. But I'm sure to me, just getting a goalkeeper to slot back in is probably super simple.
Yeah.
Right.
I think out of all of the positions on the field that like you could not be at practice for, it's probably goalie.
Well, to be fair, like goalkeepers do an entirely separate training from the outfield player. So it's not like when we talk about practice, like they might show up to the end of the outfield practice to like do like some scrimmage type stuff. So it's just different training entirely. So yeah,
it's probably better for him to like so his voice gets back, so then he can get yelling again.
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see. I don't see why Emi Martinez can't get back in time. Now, like the sobriety aspect of it, like will he be hungover? That's a good question.
But let's be real, like have any of them been sober since they left Qatar?
Yeah, good for him, man. Good for all of them. You get to celebrate. You get to celebrate if you win a tournament.
Oh yeah.
Hey, and just so everybody knows, Budweiser is donating every keg, every case, every can that they were going to send to Qatar is going to Argentina.
Now, but how are they distributing it? Like, are they giving it to the bars and like? I don't know.
To the country of Qatar or to the country of Argentina.
That seems
you figure it out.
That's going to be some. That's
going party. The
little skim off the top. Little skim off the top. Little couple of kegs, couple of cases. We'll keep that right here at headquarters.
Yeah, Sean feels what I'm getting at. There's going to be some.
Yeah, you
corruption.
guys. Yeah, little skimming off the top.
What is it, like $75 million worth of beer or something like that? Some absurd amount of beer.
Oh, that's a lot of beer.
That's how much Budweiser paid for the sponsorship.
So like $100 million worth of beer?
Probably.
Hey, that's a lot of beer.
A lot.
Do Argentinians even like Budweiser? We're gonna find out. I'm gonna call.
Does it matter?
I'm gonna call my neighbor who's Argentinian and see what he thinks.
What's your favorite kind of beer?
Free beer, obviously.
What's your second favorite beer?
The next free one.
Cold.
Okay. So,
cold free beer is the best beer there is. So
I guess my question about this Liverpool Villa game, Liverpool will get a warm up match in the, I almost said the Community Shield in the EFL Cup. Do we see Villa putting up a lot of resistance against them? Like, how does a game like that play out? Is it hard for either one of these teams?
It's probably easier for Villa because they've had 5 weeks to work, right?
Okay, yeah.
Especially the new manager, new ideas. Liverpool had players in the World Cup, much more players in the World Cup than Villa did.
I keep asking this question. It's impossible to tell. I don't know.
Did they? Firmino didn't play. Salah didn't play. Nunez was out forever. Like he was out
and
4 weeks ago.
Don't they still have injuries? Still, too. Liverpool does.
Darwin went to the World Cup.
Yeah, but he hasn't played. They got knocked out in the group stage. Like he's been back for.
Luis Diaz didn't play for Ecuador at all.
He did not play for Ecuador.
He did not.
Alisson played a lot. Van Dijk played a lot.
Van Dijk went to the semis. So how much does a center back run?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
So,
no, Liverpool's ready to go.
Okay.
So you think Liverpool's going to smash?
Absolutely.
Who do you think? Brad and I seem incapable of reading these games. So who's going to win this Arsenal West Ham game?
Arsenal who?
You mean Liverpool game?
No, he just said.
You just dropped down.
He just said Liverpool's going to smash. I'm moving on to the Arsenal West Ham game so that we can get out of the podcast, so we don't belabor the point.
Yeah.
I just want Sean Stradamus to give us a prediction for West Ham Arsenal.
It's 3-2 Arsenal.
3-2. Okay, this was a trap question. I asked it specifically to Sean because I was like, he's gonna pick West Ham.
So I get to come back next podcast and be like, how do they keep doing this?
Let's do that. Let's come back next podcast and ask how
They're
Arsenal
gonna
keep doing it.
They're gonna keep doing it.
I'm
They're
all
gonna
right.
keep doing it.
Let's keep doing it through May.
It's obnoxious.
It is obnoxious, and I love it. So yeah, tell us what you guys think. Do you guys think that this is a weird restart? That things are feeling strange? Do you think that it's more straightforward than we're making it? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. As always, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell, follow on the podcast site, rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, share it with a friend. Do all those things, and we would really appreciate it, and it would make us very happy. And yeah, hit us up on Twitter. That's at KSBradG, at Whiteheart_Sean. I'm at James Tiffany, collectively at Redcard_radio. Watch some football this weekend. It should be fun. I don't know if it's going to be as fun as the World Cup final was, but it's going to be fun. And I can't wait to get into it. So we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.